Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Thursday. That means this is Dawnbringers, the Ghosts of Saltmarsh. Tonight's episode is Season 3, Episode 8, Sinister Secrets. That's right, this is our Thursday night campaign happening every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern right here on twitch.tv/Mini Terrain Domain. And we thank you all who have already been eagerly waiting in the wings for us to get started. We thank you for joining us tonight as we get ready to have some more D&D fun. We are, unfortunately, down one player. Megan was unable to join us this evening, but she will return back to us when she can, hopefully next week. Otherwise, we have Scotty, V, Ted, and Jeremy. Couple of really quick announcements, very brief. Be sure to either type Jasper, !Jasper in the chat, or !Coffee in the chat to learn more about Jasper's Game Day and Initiative Coffee Company. Those two are sort of intertwined. You can also go down below the video window. There are information tiles on each of those that give even more details about those wonderful organizations that we have partnered with. Of course, a huge shout out to D&D Beyond. Mini Terrain Domain is powered by D&D Beyond. You can mouse over the stream. If you're watching from a computer, just simply hover your mouse over the stream and you will see these players' characters pop out on the left hand side, and you can click through to get a little more information about those characters. One thing that I really want to make sure that we emphasize as we do before every stream, if you are out there and you are struggling, if you find yourself in need of somebody to talk to, you just need to reach out to somebody. You can type !help at any point. And as Jeremy has just done in the chat, you'll see that that is much more greatly expanded. That is the phone numbers for, in the United States, the National Suicide Hotline, where trained professionals are standing by. You can call them at any time at 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255, or text 741-741. If you are in Canada, the crisis text line can be reached by texting CONNECT in English, for English, or Parlor for French to 686-868. And the new Canadian Suicide Prevention Services by Crisis Services Canada allows 24/7 access anywhere in Canada by phone in French or English, toll free at 1-833-456-4566. Thank you to Quinian, BC, for providing me with the Canadian information. We have a lot of Canadian friends that watch and that play in our game, so I wanted to be sure to include that. And as I get more information, and I'm going to be creating more, I'll provide more information for that. So do not hesitate to use that if you find yourself in need of somebody to talk to. You matter. We think you're important. We think you matter. And if you need help, we want you to seek that help. I want to give the microphone over to Mr. DM Scotty. He's got a little something that he wants to talk about.
All right, guys. I just wanted to mention that the Quest Givers Kickstarter is going on right now. And if you go to Kickstarter, North Road Quest Givers, you'll find it. Also in the chat, I think it's posted. Or you can type !Quest Givers. Is it
!Quest?
Yeah, thank you. And we're over halfway funded, so we'd love to get this book out. And it's going to be well worth your money. And I'm running it for groups right now, and we're having a blast with it. So it's certified Scotty. That's my first Kickstarter. I'm just very excited about it. So if you can, go check it out. And if you just can't afford to get the book, also check out, we have a $1 pledge where you actually get something for the dollar. That doesn't happen on a lot of Kickstarters. So check it out. Quest Givers North Road campaign on Kickstarter. Thank you.
Yeah, be sure to check that out. We've run one of the, actually the first, I believe, in the series. We ran that as a one-shot here on the channel several months back. That is over on youtube.com/mini-terrain-domain. And you can look around and you will find that game, which the name escapes me right now. I think I might have called it by the name of the adventure.
Death and Taxes?
Yeah, I might have called it that. It was Death and Taxes. But the final note, I wish I could do something in the chat to make this actually happen, but it is National Talk Like a Pirate Day. So the entire game will be talking like this. No, we won't. I already could see that V had enough of it. I will not be, as much as I could, I will not be talking like that the entire session, but it may come up in session. So, yeah, I think that's it for the announcements. Oh, domain dice. If you look above my head, you'll see the domain indicators. Thank you to everybody who donates, subscribes, resubscribes, all that good stuff to earn the domain dice. But an extra special thank you to Chameleon Fam, Joey P., who last week donated so much to bring us up from 70 domain dice to over 100, which was his goal all along, and we're actually at 107 domain dice. I still didn't have the graphics yet to get that extra above 100, but those domain dice can be used. The information is in the chat. Thank you to our mod Fellowship of the Tables for typing !domain. And you can look at the scroll bar all along the bottom, and that will tell you what each of those dice do. I'm hoping to more and more put these players in situations where they are going to need domain dice. By the time I'm done, you will need 1 million domain dice. So, having just done a Dr. Evil impression in a D&D game, something I didn't expect to do, we're going to recap last session and bring you up to speed. The adventurers, the Dawnbringers, found themselves heading towards the Saltmarsh jail and barracks, having received word that the captain of the ship that brought them across the sea from the Sword Coast to Keeland had been jailed, along with some of his crew, specifically his boatswain Arnold, his quartermaster Giselle, and the surgeon Matilda. They had all been jailed on suspicions of slave trading. The ship, the Evangeline, is anchored in the bay with a civilian-run embargo blockade preventing anybody from getting to the ship and preventing the ship from getting into harbor. The ship has been placed under quarantine, believed, or the word being spread, that the quote-unquote slaves on board the ship are diseased and need to be quarantined. Nobody has been allowed on or off the ship. However, at one point in their investigations, they did run into Roland, the cook of the ship, who gave them a little bit more information about what was going on. They found their way to the jail. They helped to break up a riot that was beginning to form between the traditionalists and the loyalists, and about 20 of the Saltmarsh regulars that were guarding them. And they managed to very successfully calm everybody down, disperse the crowd, get them to go their own separate ways, so that they could talk to, yep, his name just left my head, Firebrand. the captain of the guard, and learn a little bit more about what was going on. Now, they are very dissatisfied to learn that many of the council of Saltmarsh and those in charge are holding the Dawnbringers partially responsible for what happened because they chose to disappear on a brief side quest, leaving Captain Dervish and crew to sail in without them escorting them. And in some people's eyes, that is why this was allowed to happen. However, the Dawnbringers do not see it that way, but nonetheless, they are now stuck in the position of having to be able to prove that Dervish and crew are not slavers, that they are in fact the dwarves that were contracted to be brought across from Blazing Dell. So, while they were talking to Eleander Firebrand, they had one of the members of the council, a man by the name of Anders Solmore, who had recently come on board the council with his mother's passing, who seemed to also push the Dawnbringers into trying to figure out, to get to the bottom of this whole situation, and kind of steered them in the direction of a supposedly haunted house north of town along the coast, or rather east of town along the coast, that he has reason to believe a slaving operation is being run from there, and if they can find the real slavers of Saltmarsh, they can exonerate their friends. And so they have taken up this quest. Dawnbringers, you now find yourselves outside of the jail. It is late morning, and you do have, as a reminder, quite a few dwarves and humans from the Loyalist Party that you dispersed with promises of buying rounds of drinks at the Wicker Goat, the local tavern. And you do have this quest. You have the option to, well, do what you want. You can go in the town, you can talk to people, gather information, or you can just beat feet and head towards your quest. Dawnbringers, what would you like to do?
If I remember correctly, Thorgarn was quite agitated by the conversations of, placing the blame on the Dawnbringers, and the fact that there's, two council members talking to us saying, hey, we know that, we trust you guys, you the Dawnbringers, that we trust this guy, but there's other people in town who are making trouble, and those dwarves are just going to have to sit out on that boat. Nobody's checked on them. No one knows what kind of health they're in, and they're just being forced to sit there. So Thorgarn is agitated. There was promise of, ale. So he's going to have to go, in that direction and drink off some of this agitation.
One point to make is that, first, Ted, a lot of people in chat, and I also can hear it, your mic is really quiet compared to everybody else.
That's because my mic part was pushed up.
Oh, there you go.
Any better?
You already sound better. Second
I
point,
apologize.
The second point that I forgot to mention in the recap was the Dawnbringers had begun to formulate a plan to hire a doctor that the Loyalists and the Traditionalists would trust, particularly the Traditionalists would trust, to try to get through the embargo, to get eyes on the dwarves on the boat, on the ship. And Anders Solmore had agreed to take on that task while you guys pursued this other lead. So I did want to just bring that up. So continue. So Thorgarn is of the sounds like is of the mind of wanting to honor the promise of drink.
So Cantriel, Fig, Griveth, do what you like. I made some promises to the dwarves. Cousin, more than welcome. But I'm going to the tavern. And I just begin walking in that direction.
Yeah, Talmud kind of turns to the other three. Yeah, it's really not wise to piss off an entire town's worth of dwarves. That's not a good way to start relations. So I'm going to go help him divvy out some ale as well.
Oh, shocker.
Cantriel, we got to do something. They can't. We got to the stuff. We got the.
Use your words, Griveth.
Stop them.
Stop them from doing...
Drinking, and then they'll...
They're dwarves. They're better drinking.
It'll be the whole day.
You want to give
It
them
could
a
be a
time
week.
limit? All right, give it a try. Go tell the boys that they can drink for 2 hours, and that's all they got. Better yet, you can just pick one up under each arm and just walk out with them if need be.
Ho, guys. Ho. Hold on.
Somebody fan art that image. That would be hysterical.
One under each arm.
The way Scotty reached out, I picture him like just putting his Griveth is putting his hands on each of your heads and going, "Hold on."
Hey, guy. Okay, hold on.
That's going to be Spike's next Photoshop tribute.
Yeah. Put them under my hands on the guy. Hey. Okay, we gotta. We could be on limited time here. We don't know how sick these people are.
The dwarves have been waiting for their drinks?
Well, we don't know what's happening on the boat.
Griveth, they're most likely not sick.
I know, but what if they are? We don't
And
know.
what if
We
wishes
left.
for horses and beggars could fly?
We left, so I think time is of the essence.
Yes, and we also need to keep the townspeople on our side, so better to make sure that these group of people get the drinks that were promised to them.
I agree, but why don't we just go in, drop off the money? You guys can have a quick, pint. Okay, 2, 3. Okay, and then I've seen you can drink them pretty fast, and then we head off. We'll open a
All right.
tab.
I don't know if you guys are following, but I did not stop. Just saying. So,
There goes Thorgarn.
Thorgarn!
Let him get a head start on me.
Yes, go and catch up, literally.
Talmud, stop him! Do something!
Oh, okay, 3. We'll be back.
You do know that 3 means 9 in dwarf.
I'm worried.
Why?
Fig, what?
Perhaps.
Now you get curious, Fig. I'm wondering. What's going on that boat? I gotta know.
All right, I'm going to catch up with the dwarfs. You two have fun.
Can't you charm a bird or something and go to the boat and check it out? Sing to the pretty birds.
Charm a bird.
I hope you're not talking to me.
I am.
Jesus Christ.
I am Cantriel.
Griveth, there are many things I'm more than happy to charm. A wee little bird?
Just have it go out to the boat and check things out.
It's not a mine. Nor am I Snow White.
A fish? Can you do a fish?
I need a drink. And she'll walk off to catch up with the dwarf.
What, guys? What?
Perhaps, Griveth, it would be not such a bad thing if we go to this tavern with them. We don't have to drink, but as I've observed in the last taverns we've been in, the more people drink, the more people talk. If you don't wish to drink, perhaps you can ask around or talk to the people.
Well, maybe 1 or 2
People or drinks?
drinks.
And Fig would also kind of head off towards following Cantriel and the dwarves.
Fig, aren't you curious what's going on the boat?
I am.
I gotta know.
There is little that we can do without
I
causing
know.
a problem.
I know, it's driving me crazy.
I wonder. I have to look at Fig's.
You know how you get curious about stuff? Curiouser and curiouser. I'm that way right now. What can I do?
Just had the mental image of Griveth being dressed in all yellow with a yellow helmet.
Is he Curious George or the man in the yellow hat?
He would be the man in the yellow hat. Fig is Curious George.
Oh no.
Oh no, I'm not gonna be able to lose that image. I guess there's nothing we can do. I can't get out there.
So you're gonna follow them.
I'll just kind of like and just follow them.
I was just looking
and follow them.
I was just looking to see if Fig had taken calm emotions.
Cantriel may be reconsidering at the next level up.
Rename it Calm Griveth.
Consider getting charm birds.
No.
That spell's called animal friendship, dude. Just saying.
Yeah, that. I don't know these arcane names.
I'm already multi-classing ranger. I'm not throwing in druid because then it's going to start getting weird, people.
While you are heading there to the Wicker Goat, Fig does say that where did it go? Fig does tell you, Griveth, I have mentally gone over the spells that I have at my disposal, and unfortunately the Evangeline is too far out in the bay for any of them to reach. I will continue to think on it. So, you are all heading to the Wicker Goat. When you were walking through town initially, you actually do pass by the same spot where you had previously met another interesting character of Saltmarsh, the elven woman going by the name of the Lady Vantage. The crowd had sort of bumped into Fig, and Fig kind of fell in a tumble, spilled Fig's coins on the ground, and this elven woman showed up and helped Fig to right himself and returned his coins to him. You pass by this same area. It is no less crowded in town at this time. In fact, it is probably, there's more crowd, but there seems to be a little more order to it. The crowd has a sort of natural ebb and flow to it as the daily activities are in full swing. You make your way through the town, and I just need the map. Sorry, my map's not loading. Here we go. So, you come down the long road from the barracks, which was outside of town. You, actually, you are directed. Oh, you know what? You don't have to go all the way back into town, because the Wicker Goat is actually not that far from the barracks. I was looking at the wrong building. So you find yourself very quickly at the Wicker Goat. And this place is in sort of the midday rush. It is quite a few people in there for midday meals. It seems to be straining the seating capacity right now, and an inordinate amount of filthy dwarves, filthy in the sense that they are miners, having still dirty with coming up from the mines. And while a few people are drinking, quite a few people seem to be watching the door, and the murmur gets briefly very quiet as first Thorgarn and Talmud and then the others enter. And then very quickly, the crowd just surges with a "Hey!" when they see you all, see all of you come in, and you see a few of them sort of pointing at you and starting to talk to the barmaid that's making her way through. And
I go like straight to the bar, you know, almost unceremoniously, you know, pushing my way through if need be. And you know, is it a man or a woman behind the bar when I get there?
There is a rather grizzled looking man who has that look that's very obvious, having just left the barracks and jail, that he has the look of a man of military bearing. He appears to possibly be a retired army soldier, human male, and he's just standing there looking around. And as you approach, he doesn't even give you a chance to say anything. "You one of the dwarves that promised all these dwarves that you'd buy them something to drink?"
Indeed. How much ale do you have currently?
"A lot."
Is it quantifiable?
"Everything's quantifiable. I keep a steady supply of ales, spirits, and wines. You can see," and he gestures, and you see that there's probably about a half a dozen kegs that are behind. There's a few bottles, dusty bottles of spirits and wines. And we've got more in the cellar. Are you planning to buy that much?
I promised these dwarves would drink to disperse the crowd that was trying to cause problems up at the barracks. How much gold or how much ale would 100 gold buy for these townsfolk?
100 gold. $100 would get you about 2 of these kegs.
Are they sizable kegs?
They're good sized kegs, you know, probably. They're not the size of like a full size, like 55-gallon barrel. They're more like half of that. So they're probably like maybe in the 25-30 gallon range.
Given the fact that, you know, I know how to brew, I know, you know, as dwarves we drink, and the size of the tavern, how long would I anticipate this lasting?
Given the amount of people that are in here, and the amount that you're proposing to buy, and he does say you could go, that 100 gold would get 3 of these kegs. It's still good ale, just not as good as this stuff. You would know that that's probably going to last this crowd maybe a couple hours. There's enough ale in there that it's going to be pretty sufficient. Either the 2 or the 3 kegs would be sufficient to fulfill your promise.
Yeah. I slap down, you know, a stack of gold. Here's 100 gold for the ale. Here's 50 gold for any issues. And give me something strong.
Talmud will pony up beside him and lay out another 100 gold. There you go. Keep it coming.
I'm sorry, but do we have some body snatcher issues right now?
Hmm?
The two of you are each forking over 100 gold.
Aye.
Aye.
Well, wonders never cease.
That's what gold is for. Buying ale.
Ah, logic now figured. Okay, sure, go for it. Have fun.
Keeping promises, keeping the peace,
Hmm.
calming angers.
Buying ale.
The gold still sits on the counter. And he's sizing the two of you up, and then seeing as Cantriel has come up behind. Fig would also have come up to where you're at. Are you there too, Griveth? So kind of looking over all of you. And your intention is to come into town and get a bunch of dwarves and others drunk on your money.
Oh, sure, and let them run amok and cause chaos and everything like that. It'd be a grand time.
Truth be told, this lot here and the others from the other shifts from the mines, they come in here a lot. They spend a lot of their hard-earned gold and even some of that silver they've been beginning to mine out. And quite frankly, we haven't had a lot of incidents.
Well, then that's good. That means they're keeping some money in their pockets and still getting a drink.
So, the name's Lankus Curid. He extends a hand out to you first, Thorgarn.
I give him a firm grip. Lankus what?
Lankus Curid. About 10 years ago, I was captain of the guard here, till I handed it over to Firebrand when I retired. I put the name in the chat for you.
Well,
I'm going to take your money and supply the ale. I've already picked up on what you did, and that was a good thing. And he, in one motion, he takes the stacks of coins and slides them over as he grabs a wooden box from under the bar. You don't see it, you just hear the coins kind of clatter into this wooden box in a cascade. And he reaches under the table and he pulls out a bottle that has for a bottle, it's pretty ornate looking. It's more than just functional. It looks almost decorative. It has a slightly spherical shape to it, but it's more faceted than spherical. And it has a richly amber, almost reddish liquid in it. And he pulls out this bottle and he hands it to you, Thorgarn.
what's this?
This is a dwarvish fire whiskey from, well, I happen to have a few bottles of it, and the supply comes in very infrequently, but it is said to come from a far-off land called Erasmas.
How much?
It's on the house. It's my way of saying thank you for what you've done, and also, don't make a habit of it.
It's not the intention. So, can we get a couple cups?
Don't you have a special cup?
Oh, that's right, I do.
You got a treasure in the form of a trusty tankard.
I do it that. So I pull it off of my belt. I pour a glass for me and hand the bottle over to Talmud.
Who's smacking his lips. Oh, yes. Pours himself a glass. Turns to Cantriel. Would you like some of this? Maybe not.
Depends. Do you want me more fiery than usual?
What does that mean?
Do you want me amplified?
Griveth, would you like some?
I'll have a little bit, yes. I'll
Good,
try it.
Puts hair on your chest.
Oh, more hair?
Oh dear God.
So as Griveth is sipping this, what's it taste like?
Talmud, since you, Jeremy, know the origin of this fire whiskey, why don't you describe what this fire whiskey from Erasmas tastes like?
Well, to tell you the truth, I did not remember that it came from Erasmus. So I'd have to fib a story, should be told.
Well, I'm just giving you, since it was kind of, you're I think the only one that picked up on the in joke there.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I think that this has almost like a cinnamon kind of undertone, but when you're finished with it, it's almost got like a smoke flavor, like an aftertaste.
That is a wonderful way to explain it, because the dwarf who brews this stuff, a dwarf by the name of Rorge Firebrand, which actually, being a dwarf, you know, he's probably not in any relation to Eleander Firebrand. Pure coincidence, but it does say Firebrand fire whiskey, and there is etched into the metallic label the image of a inn that looks partially like a tower, and has in a fancy script the name Wayward Wanderer underneath it. But yeah, Rorge Firebrand is known in his parts for often out of his kitchen comes smoke pouring from the things he's trying to cook. For those that don't know, that is a throwback to an adventure module setting from Absolute Tabletop called The Wayward Wanderer, not a sponsor. So you guys have your drink. The Keurig sort of motioned you away from the bar to make room for the few paying patrons that are in there. And you have a little bit of time.
Drop, 250 gold,
Sorry.
You do have however much time you want to eat, drink, and be merry. You do notice that there are quite a few people in here. Besides those that you had seen, there's actually probably a third more dwarves present now than were even at the jail. Word seems to have spread a bit. But as long as the ale is flowing, they're happy. But there are a few other patrons. There's a couple that seem almost a little disgruntled at the surge of dwarves and the extra crowd. And Cantriel, with your passive perception, you would even notice that there's one individual who has he's a human male, looks to be probably in his mid-40s, scruffy, disheveled, bright red nose, the looks of somebody who spends a lot of time in the tavern. And whenever his mug is empty, he somehow manages, without having to leave his seat, to find more free ale making its way into his mug. But nobody really sits and talks with him. He seems almost to be a part of a fixture of this place. Griveth, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to say, as he's sipping this excellent beverage, he's sitting there and he's thinking about the last time he was drinking, and then he's like, that wasn't so bad. Yeah. And he's thinking, oh God, wait a minute. Oh geez. Okay, that was a little bad. That was a little bad. And then he's thinking more about the last time, and he's like, Oh my god. Oh jeez. So he puts his drink down. He's like, maybe I shouldn't drink for a while.
So Thorgarn, once he's got his drink, and everybody who has asked for some from the fire whiskey, I pull Talmud, or ask Talmud to come outside, so that there's room for patrons to do what they're gonna do, and Thorgarn just begins kind of pacing, having learned that this tankard is not gonna spill no matter what he does, and he's finds a spot, off the regular main thoroughfare, and he just gets, we're just winding back and forth over, like, 25 feet, and like he'll come to one end and he'll say, totally just speaking dwarven, half a sentence, something about the dwarves on the boat, or firebrand, or the haunted house, or anything that just not making any sense whatsoever. And every time he gets to the end, he takes a sip, he prattles off something until it gets, he gets a little bit, calmed down from the issues. And he finally turns.
Did you bring me out here to talk to yourself?
I just wanted to make sure the whiskey stayed here.
Oh, yes, I see. Would you like some more?
Yeah.
You don't seem like you're finished with your conversation just yet.
I think I'm about ready to go check out this house and deal with whoever's there. I don't want to addle the senses too much.
Cantriel, they went outside. Let's go out before they come back in.
You really are desperate to get out of here, aren't you? Well, at least it's not taking a beholder this time. Let's go.
Well, the way I look at it is, regardless of what's happening at this place, it doesn't sound like it's something that should go unchecked. It sounds like it bothers the townsfolk a bit, and having them on our side is not a bad move. Plus, truth be told, I'm tired of talking our way through everything. I just want to, fight.
I definitely understand that, and there's times I 100% agree with you. But we're in a town. We can't just fight our way through it all.
I know. I'm trying my best. This is helping.
Well, that's why I'm out here, because we don't know what we're going to see when we get there, and we can't just go swinging and hammer and axe and sword and whatever have you into whatever's in our way, because not all problems are molten steel.
Well, no, no. And I with people in the town, obviously there's better ways to handle things, and I've tried to do better, but out there, you're talking about slavers and, well, I guess maybe ghosts, if it is actually haunted.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's probably not haunted, but we won't know if they're slavers until we check.
Gentlemen, can we go now?
You and I are not the stealthiest, and neither's he. So it's going to take some work to gather information before we know whether or not we should be going and swinging.
All right. Fine.
Yes, Griveth, we can go.
All right, let's get this resolved. You've had your drinks.
Why don't you lead the way, Griveth? Scout it out ahead of us.
I
can do that.
I down whatever's left in the mug and reattach it to my belt.
I take the bottle to go.
All right, so you guys are deciding that you want to head towards where you were told this haunted house is. The information you had was that it was along the coast, about 4 miles eastward along the coast outside of town. It takes you probably a good 15 to 20 minutes just to navigate through the town to that road with the congestion. It's not so much that there's such a throng of people. It's as it is that you don't know this town and trying to figure out which roads the crossroads connect to. It doesn't take you long, though. By the time you're done, you get a good sense of the layout. It has a fairly organized layout to the town, and you find yourselves heading eastward along the road, along the coast, as you pass by.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Could my lovely little fairy dragon sort of fly ahead and see if it could find it for us and let me know what it sees ahead of time?
Probably. Oops. It's for a minute there. I forgot you had a fairy dragon.
So did I, and then I looked at my extras.
Yeah, that was from your downtime activities back in Blazingdell. You spent quite a significant amount of time in. I'm an idiot. I typed fairy dragon into D&D Beyond and spelled it Ferry. So now I kind of want to know what a fairy dragon is. That's a mode of transport across a lake or river.
There you go.
Well, those are the old gondola boats. The ones that are designed like
that's what I
dragon.
What V, was yours an older or younger?
Yes,
what
an
color?
older.
An older one?
Green. Older green.
Older green. Okay.
So as soon as we actually like step out of town proper and we're on a path, I pull Faithkeeper, out, get a moment to just kind of like stretch and settle the armor, and I turn to Talmud and be like, it's good to be on a quest and on dry land again.
You're telling me. I think my food is down for a record time now.
'Tis good.
I agree. And the world isn't, shifting around finally.
Now
You guys, anybody that drank the fire whiskey that's not a dwarf probably feels pretty nicely buzzed. The dwarves in particular, you feel a pleasant warmth. It's clear that this whiskey is made by dwarves for dwarves. The person that distilled these spirits knew exactly what they were doing.
the new tagline by
Was that on purpose?
What?
You just gave a
what
version
you
of
said.
Nerdarchy's slogan.
For nerds, by nerds.
No,
Come on.
It wasn't even intentional. It was completely subconscious. You know what it is?
For
It's
nerds,
sitting.
by nerds,
It's
right
sitting
there.
right next to my computer. It must have been completely subconscious.
We have ways of making you talk.
Oh boy, 4 dwarves
By dwarves.
Yeah, that was wonderful. I love it.
Precious. It's amazing.
Yes, it is now canon that next to the logo on the bottle, there does appear for some reason to be a small goblin holding a bomb above his head. 4 dwarves by dwarves. Stay dwarven.
Or a Cinnabon.
All right. Yes, Cantriel. You had developed a strong connection with your fairy dragon. And because you speak Draconic, it is able to hear and obey your commands. So you're just instructing it to sort of scout ahead.
Yeah. And then like sort of scout a little bit, fly back, sort of circle back type of technique.
All right. So why don't you go ahead and make me a perception check using your fairy dragons?
So how quick is this little bugger?
It seems to kind of
Flies 60 feet.
nice.
it
Okay.
flits ahead of your party easily at twice the speed that you are able to walk along. It has wings similar to a butterfly, so it has that sort of up and down. It's just kind of almost seeming lazy, but with Cantriel's instructions, sort of flying ahead. And it manages to actually listen to you, not veering off of the path too much. How was its perception?
It got a 13.
So it seems to kind of like it'll flit ahead until it crests a hill, and then it'll come back and let you know that it's weird because it's communicating with you not verbally so much as it is has this sort of draconic, almost like a chirping, barking sound that it makes, that it seems to communicate emotion more than it does actual words. But you get the sense that it's doesn't seem to be agitated by anything. You can interpret that it's letting you know that it's clear roads ahead.
See, Griveth, Cantriel's already charmed a bird.
It's not a bird, you dwarf.
What?
Why didn't you tell me you had a thing? I'm telling.
I don't need to tell you everything, Griveth.
I'm like spells and do this and that, and you already had it.
Well, maybe if you paid more attention and asked questions, you'd know more about me.
Well, I didn't know you had that.
You didn't know a lot of things.
Apparently not. What else are you hiding under that cloak?
Nothing for you to find, and I'll walk ahead.
Cantriel, make another perception check.
With its or mine?
Yeah,
Its?
sorry, with its.
Okay.
You guys have about 4 miles that you have to traverse.
Oh, okay. All right, that's
and,
a 15.
and I'm making you make one every 100 feet. I'm just kidding.
That's 100 feet, dude.
I need you to
Dude, it's gonna
roll
get
10
tedious.
d20.
Okay. Yeah.
How
That
did
was a
it?
15.
That was
15.
a 15.
And let's name it Verdi, so we have a name, so we're not saying it.
Verdi. I
Verdi.
like it. Verdi.
Nice.
Okay. Verdi, you guys have been walking for a couple of miles, and you've left the town behind you. You hear to your right, at various times it varies between really close by and about 100 yards away on your right hand side is the sea, the shore, and you can hear the waves crashing against rocks. Every once in a while, near when you first left town, there was sort of a beach area where a few people had gathered, and then the rest of the shoreline is pretty rocky. It's a little hilly along the way, so you lose sight of Verdi every once in a while as it flits across and then returns. This time, though, after a little bit, it seems to flit back a little more agitated, a little quicker. And it begins sort of chittering at you, and all you can gather from it is that it seems upset by something.
What's your dragon bird saying?
It's not a bird. It's upset, it's agitated. Chances are something not good is up ahead, or we need to be on our guard.
Oh, what's it saying?
It doesn't say anything.
What? Isn't it magic?
Let's just say he and I have a way of communicating that goes beyond anyone else.
So what is he communicating?
That there might be trouble ahead and that you're boring.
My friends take a look around and make sure everybody is wearing their bracer. Look, I don't think there's undead in that. I don't think there's, I don't think that house is haunted. But on the off chance that it is undead, have the some of them have the power to mess with your minds. Just remember, Dawnbringer Bracer. Rely on its power if you feel your mental shaken.
Good to know. I mean, I don't really take it off except for bedtime, so I'm good.
Yes, thank you, Thorgarn.
Right. So let's see what's over that hill. See what's got your friends so upset.
So, how would you like to proceed?
Talmud grabs the Ghost Cleaver axe, the one that bears the mark of Durgan the Black, in both hands, and starts to almost break into like a jog towards the rise. And then he kind of stops himself and slows down and turns around and looks at Thorgarn with kind of an apologetic look. Sorry. Please, after you. And kind of waits.
I'll catch up and see what I can see from the top of the rise.
Joining the crew.
All right. I would like everybody to make perception checks.
I'm super good at these.
And thanks to Spike, you are now at 109 domain dice.
Well, you know what?
I'm going to save you one. I was going to say, I'm going to use one.
I'll use one because
I don't do so well.
Hey, it's like 4 points better.
Me 3.
That's a 13.
All right, so who all just spent domain dice?
I'll use one too.
Everybody.
Thanks, Spike. All right, you know what that does, though? If you all spent them, you now have what's on screen. Spike says, use it, damn it.
We did.
You did. So you actually now have what is on screen, 105 domain dice. So what are the results of your perception checks?
14.
I got a nat 20, so the reroll was pretty awesome.
There you go.
And Talmud?
Talmud got an 18.
All right. Has Talmud ever gotten that high?
No. Often even with a domain die.
Right. Okay. So, as the four of you, or rather the five of you, are working ahead and sort of, you knew something was there. You had no idea what. You crest this hill, and at first, all you see is more of this sort of stony path running along the coast. Some on the to the north side of the road, on the left-hand side, some of the trees are growing a little thicker. And it's this one particular spot along the road that your eye is drawn to as you catch movement amongst the tree trunks. You almost missed them. All of you almost missed it. But something caused you to look at the right moment, and you see... Actually, Talmud, roll me 2d4. I like to let my players choose their fate.
That's 3.
You see 3 figures shifting amongst the tree trunks. They have a generally humanoid shape about them, though something doesn't quite seem right about that shape. And the way that they're hunkered against these tree trunks and sort of in shadow, you get the sense that these figures are lying in wait for you. Whether you specifically or just anybody along the road, you don't know. And as the 5 of you come over this hill, suddenly one of the figures turns and points, and you hear this sort of gravelly voice that Griveth, Thorgarn, Fig, and Talmud, if I remember correctly, you can correct me in a moment. You hear this sort of gravelly and almost barked voice that just sort of Cantriel, or if anybody else speaks Draconic, you hear, "There, travelers, attack!" And I need you all to roll for initiative. Jeremy seems a little excited to get to hit something.
What barbarians do best.
And actually, what I think we'll do is go ahead and roll your initiatives, and I will get those when we return from break. It's a few minutes early, but let's go ahead and come back from break, and we'll jump into this ambush. So we are going to take a 10-minute break, during which I'll play a video for you. But I do want to thank everybody who was tuned in tonight. So many people hanging out with us in the chat. We genuinely appreciate you. Also, I want to draw attention to something. I haven't been monitoring the stream very closely, but if you are noticing that the quality of the stream seems to be shifting between full resolution and seems to drop in resolution, OBS, the broadcast software that I use, just updated with a new variable bit rate. So it makes adjustments on the fly. It's new, and I haven't had a chance to go in and tweak the settings. So that could account for what you're seeing. The good news is I have seen 0 dropped frames, and we haven't lost the signal at all. So for those that have been with us for a while, that's a really good thing. So hopefully that's not a problem, but I just wanted to bring that up in case anybody noticed it. We will see you back here in just 10 minutes, where for the first time in many sessions, these characters are going to get to use their weapons. And Jeremy and the others are. Scotty does a dance. Jeremy's got his dwarf rocker hands out. I don't know what that means. I'm just gonna push the button. We'll see you in 10 minutes. Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is The Intermission. Mini Terrain Domain, or MTD, is a channel dedicated to the love of and participation in the world of tabletop role-playing games. Whether we're designing encounters or miniature terrain, building worlds or dice towers, or just playing games, everything we do here is because we love this amazing hobby. That is why the mission statement of Mini Terrain Domain is simply imagine, build, play. If you like to watch live play or actual play D&D games, you can do so at twitch.tv/Mini Terrain Domain 3 days a week at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. On Sundays, you can join us for Cult of Personality, a long-running campaign set in the Tomb of Annihilation adventure setting. On Mondays, you can join us for All That Glitters, a Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign guaranteed to be epic proportion. And every Thursday night, you can join us for Dawnbringers, the Forge of Fury. This is a series of mini campaigns going across the gamut of several well-known modules. Season 1, which is available on youtube.com/Mini Terrain Domain, took place in the Sunless Citadel, and Season 2 is currently taking place the Forge of Fury. If you can't join us in the chat for our live shows, that's okay. You can usually catch the roleplay, or rather the replay, on YouTube just 2 days later. If you're a fan of what we do here and you like to support what we do, there are a variety of ways you can do this. First, simply follow the Twitch channel or hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Next, make sure you follow all of the participants of each game or show on their various social media platforms. To do this, if you're watching live with us on Twitch, you can simply type an exclamation point and that person's name into the Twitch chat, or on YouTube, you can look down below the information bar, and all of their links can be found there. Finally, if you would like to provide monetary support, which flows right back into the production of the channel, so we can continue making great content, you can join the growing list of patrons on Patreon. Additionally, you can also use Ko-Fi or Coffee to buy a coffee or two. I like coffee. But the absolute best way to support the channel is to follow and subscribe on Twitch and YouTube and join us in the chat. If you have an Amazon Prime account and you link it to your Twitch account, you can subscribe one channel per month absolutely free. No matter what you decide to do, we are just happy to have you here. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more great content in just a few moments. Remember, metadata!
Hi everyone, I'm V, and I have the YouTube channel, The Crafting Muse. Please be sure to go over there and check it out if you too would like to learn how to make some tabletop terrain, paint miniatures, as well as some game accessories. I'm always happy to have new subscribers over there.
Learn the ways of the Game Master, the Dungeon Master, and delve into the minds of the players. If you're looking for adventure, excitement, thrills, and a dice-rolling good time, grab the modules each month and play the campaign with your gaming group with quest givers DM Scotty and DMG. They're taking you on an epic journey through the role-playing experience every Friday. You're sure to get hooked on adventure.
And we really liked the idea of creating adventures together, so we thought that'd be a lot of fun to share with you guys.
I didn't think this kind of stuff would come out of my brain. We are quest givers, and I'll see you in the next video.
Adventure Mixtape, a music and adventure anthology, is a collection of 4 adventures for the 5th edition of the world's most popular role-playing game. The adventures are setting neutral and meant to be seamlessly dropped into any world that has a large seaside city and a jungle environment. With a bit of adaptation, the environments could be changed to suit any group. In Treaty of the Tiger King by Kelsey Dion of the Arcane Library, a distant king arrives at the city to negotiate the peaceful end of a war, but the mercenary guild has other insidious plans for him. Will the players be able to thwart assassination attempts against King Rami and help him negotiate circles of social intrigue in order to finally end the war? In Madness of the Majestic Menagerie by Ken Brees of Burling's Beard, the famous Majestic Menagerie draws hordes of visitors to the metropolis and cultural hub known since time immemorial as Splendor by the Sea. But now the gates of the famous zoo have been shut, and the grand opening of the new section has been jeopardized by a spate of mysterious accidents and, it's whispered, grievous injuries due to uncontrollable creatures. Mr. Majestic seeks to hire investigators and troubleshooters who can keep a low profile to iron out any problems before the impending grand opening becomes a complete disaster. Do you have what it takes to uncover what's driving the madness that's befallen the Majestic Menagerie? In The Infernal Collection by Sharang Biswas, when an influential fashion designer is found dead days before a major fashion show, heroes are called in to solve the mystery, prevent any further destruction, and help the fashion house prepare for the show. Gorillas in Their Midst by Jacob W. Norman of Mini Terrain Domain is a pulp action adventure wrought with perilous challenges and high possibility of death. But what is adventure without danger? Of course, there is the lure of vast piles of unclaimed treasure and the accompanying fame that await those intrepid adventurers who would defy the odds and plunge into the heart of darkness. In this adventure, the characters will face raging river rapids, wicked waterfalls, poisonous plants, venomous vines, sinking sands, treacherous traps, and the vicious jungle demon itself, Awakane Gori. Grab your satchels, fedoras, and bullwhips. Adventure awaits. The Adventure Mixtape also comes with 4 original songs inspired by and written for the heroic adventures herein. This collection of music and story is something unique. We had no better word for it than mixtape. If you ever received a cassette, CD, or digital playlist curated to take you on a memorable journey, then you'll recognize what you find inside this volume. Also included in the Adventure Mixtape, courtesy of Kelsey Dion of the Arcane Library, are exclusive combat cards. Special cards that contain all of the items, monsters, and spellcasters found within these adventures to make running your adventure all the more easier. Adventure Mixtape, a music and adventure anthology, is available exclusively on drivethrurpg.com.
Griveth, once home to the most wondrous kingdom the world had ever known, blasted to nothing in just a fortnight. It is here that the fiends of hell walk among us. It is here where all things die. Welcome to Griveth. Demon invaders roam the landscape and have conquered all. The world is a ravaged and wrathful wasteland where the old world lies buried beneath the blood and sand with its gods and its secrets. Water is fought over with blood and steel. Compatible with the 5th edition of the world's oldest fantasy role-playing game, this book contains all new character creation options, including all of the familiar classes with new aspects befitting the ravaged wastelands of Griveth, along with new backgrounds, subclasses, spells, feats, and so much more. New races will allow you to play as the cursed Ash Elves, the Forsaken Humans, the Primordial Incarnate, the Proud Orcs, the Reptilian Suri, or the Infernal-Blooded Tieflings. New game mechanics such as blood, grit, and effort give your games an intense focus on lethality and survival. Numerous roll tables full of ideas to help bring your games to life. Featuring incredible thematic art by Brandish Gilhelm of Runehammer Games, as well as Lloyd Collins. The people of Griveth are not heroes. In Griveth it is courage just to survive. Will you rise to face the tide of demons, or will you succumb to the hostile elements? Available now on drivethrurpg.com.
And we're back. And we have already rolled initiative and established initiative. And because all of you rolled initiative higher than whatever these creatures are, or people, you have not yet seen excuse me. You have not yet seen what they are. Cantriel, what would you like to do? You and you alone have distinctly heard the words attack, travelers.
I want to respond back in Draconic. What do I want to respond back? How about who you calling a traveler in Draconic, and I'm going to draw my bow and hold action that should they keep coming upon us, I will shoot at the closest one.
And what are you saying to them?
Who are you calling a traveler? In Draconic, just to throw them. Make it known that we know they're there, or I know they're there, and also to clue in the others.
Make a charisma check. You decide if your tone is attempting to be persuasive or intimidating.
Well, we are talking about Cantriel.
Right, which is why I let you choose, because I have no idea.
Okay. Straight up charisma, you said?
No, you choose whether it's persuasion or intimidation.
Well, it's the exact same thing for me, so it doesn't matter. So it's going to be 14.
That seems about right for Cantriel.
Right? On
Persuasion
brand.
8.
We're still on brand.
You get no response. But they still seem, you can just make out that you can make out that they are holding clubs and shields, and you even see a couple of what look like spears amongst them. So you're basically just holding your action in case they advance closer?
Yep. As soon as one gets closer, starts advancing, and I can see him, I'm going to shoot him.
All right, Talmud. Is that right? Do you ever go this soon in initiative order?
Every once in a while, Talmud's got really good luck on initiative.
Sometimes my combat rolls, for the most part, seem to be pretty decent. So I'm not gonna, look a gift horse in the mouth.
All right.
So what Talmud is going to look in the mouth is Thorgarn. He's going to turn to Thorgarn with kind of a is now okay? Once he seems like the cousin is on board, he's going to turn and charge. I don't know how far away they are. It sounded like they were decently far.
They are about 60 feet away.
Okay. So my movement, I think, is 35 at this point.
Should be 35 or 40.
35. So I am going to dash.
You're going to just dash right up on the edge of the trees and where these figures are?
Yep. With Ghost Cleaver brandished.
Do you do so just with the grunting and breathing of running hard, or with a battle cry?
Well, I guess I have to take damage or attack in order to not lose it. And I can't attack. Yeah, I don't think he's going to rage yet, but...
You could say the new battle cry, 4 dwarves by dwarves.
TM. No, he's going to charge over the hill, and he's going to say, "For the sons of Kundrikar," as he's raising Ghost
So this
Cleaver above his head.
dwarf comes charging over the hill towards this outcropping of trees where what exactly is there you can't quite tell until you get right up on them, and you can see that there are 4 humanoid figures standing about 7 feet tall. So they are outfitted with shields that appear to be made from large turtle shells, wicked wooden clubs, crude javelins. Their skin is covered in iridescent gray scales, and they have long talons on their feet and ridges across the crest of their lizard head that runs down their back and along their thick tails, as you have just run into 4 lizard folk. Griveth. Talmud has taken off running. Cantriel, you hear her say something in Draconic, and you hear the tautening of the bowstring. What would you like to do, Griveth?
I was just wondering, Cantriel, what is when you said your phrase to them in Draconic, what did it sound like?
Are you asking me or asking Cantriel?
Well, you.
I think Scotty wants us to hear what your Draconic sounds like.
Yeah, let's hear Draconic.
All right, it works.
Awesome. Okay.
Make sure you clip that one.
Is that Rosemary's Baby?
Did you say red rum?
Red rum, yeah. Red rum.
All right, Griveth, what are you doing?
All right. So, Griveth quickly glances at Cantriel, sees after her that she can't understand, and figures what she did. Doesn't know what she said, but he thinks she said charge and kill them. So that's what Griveth is going to do. So he leaps from cover, trying to keep up with Talmud, but Talmud is faster. So Griveth eventually catches up next to Talmud, and with Sir Bradford ready to go, his shield. And as I run across the way, I cast as a bonus action Shield of Faith on myself.
Alrighty.
Okay.
It is then Thorgarn.
Not to be outdone by Griveth and Talmud, Thorgarn, kind of gives his his cousin the okay and kind of charges on after the other two, and trying to once I get up close and see what we're actually looking at, try to fan out the cover the bases, see if we can get a flank on one if they're not clustered together as we are. But I will engage to melee and be ready to fight next round with the warhammer and sword.
Fig stays back with Cantriel, and you can see as Fig quickly, you see that wrist compartment open up. You hear a little bit of a and there's just one of the wands shoots into his hand, and he sort of, and you see blue energy crackling along the surface as he looks to you, Cantriel. Now, none of them advanced forward, but it's very clear with the rest of your party having moved in to engage that these lizard folk have every intention of fighting. So you can either release your held action now or just continue to stand at the ready.
Are they visible?
Yeah, you can see the forms.
Okay.
And they're visible enough that I'm not going to make you that they have extra cover or anything.
I'm not firing blind or anything like that.
No.
All right, then yeah, I'll release the arrow. And will a mathing, hold on. 13 hit?
Griveth, Thorgarn, and Talmud, you see one of Cantriel's arrows strike a tree near you, and you just hear that thunk. It does not hit any of them.
Okay, well, we know that now.
Let me see if I can do better. As Fig flicks his wrist and is going to cast... Where did it go? I don't mind playing spellcasters, but when it's not my spellcaster... There we go. Cast Magic Missile at 2nd level so that one dart goes to each of them. And you just see these 4 now familiar blue darts of energy just sort of... and just arc their way around, and they are not going to miss. And I will roll the damage. So that's 2, 3, 5, 2. 2, 3, 5, 2. You see each of them get hit with this energy. There's a brief moment where they seem almost confused as to where this came from. And then the 4 of them are going to lay into the group. Griveth, Thorgarn, and Talmud, you are each going to get attacked by one. And then one of them is actually going to attempt to throw its javelin at Cantriel. So we're going to do that one first. it's going to be at disadvantage because of the distance. You see a javelin come hurling out of the woodline towards you, Cantriel, but it comes in a way too steep of an arc, and it falls easily about 30 feet short of you as you just see this thing thunk into the ground. But we're going to start with Griveth. The one engaging you has its club raised, and that is a natural 20 to hit you. Talmud is eagerly pointing at what I can only assume is domain dice and not Cantriel. V's like, why are you pointing at me?
Reroll.
So, as a reminder, that is 2 domain dice to get me to reroll. And that is, unfortunately, an 18 on the die. It's not a crit, but it is still going to be a hit because that is going to be a 22 to hit you, which I don't believe beats your AC, or which I believe beats your AC. As this club gets in and just rings your bell, you are going to take, Griveth, you're going to take 4 points of bludgeoning damage, and almost immediately, as it hits you, it takes a swipe at you with its shield, which you can now see there are spikes on the edge of the shield. And that is going to be a 21 to hit. And so you are going to take 6 points of piercing damage as it hits you with this. Simultaneously, Thorgarn, you have the one in front of you swinging a club at you. You can roll an attack with a D6, you moron.
You can. I have no problems with it.
This one doesn't get its club quite at the ready in time as it goes to swing, and it swings too early as you run up on it. But it takes a swipe at you. Man, even on the second swing, it's swinging clumsy and lazily. I rolled a 4 and a 3 on those attacks.
Quick feet and too many weapons in his path.
Talmud, you being the first one to run up on it, this thing sort of holds its club and its shield out to its sides, and it opens its mouth wide with a and it lunges down at you and attempts to bite you. And that is going to be a total of 23 to hit.
That does hit. And as it hits, Talmud's reciprocating.
And you will take 6 points of damage from that. And as it releases you from the bite, it attempts to hit you with a club. And that's going to be a dirty 20 to hit you, which will do 8 points of bludgeoning damage. And I'm an idiot. I'm rolling all these D6s, and I did not get out a very special set of D6s that I was supposed to get out at the start of this game.
Oh, wait, no, those are the Chessex, right? Oh,
no! These are... Oh, that's weird. The yellow is getting filtered out from the green screen effect, but thanks to Ted... you can check out the Mini Terrain Domain Twitter or Instagram, where I posted these Dawnbringer dice that I will be attacking you with. Well, I won't be attacking, I'm rolling damage. But all 4 lizard folk have now taken their turn, and we are back to the top of the order, Cantriel. As they've moved in and fully engaged your companions, you get a clear look at them. And you can see, everybody can now clearly see that these are menacing 7-foot-tall lizard folk.
Oh, lovely. 7-foot-tall ones, huh?
Indeed.
Then, let me just check something here. Then, and there's how many again?
There's 4 of them.
There's 4 of them. All right, so I will look upon these lovely, lovely critters and start singing, I have truth on my side, you only have defeat, and cast Bane upon 3 of them. So 3 of them will get caught with Bane. but they have to do a charisma saving throw to see if it sticks.
All right, I will roll for each of them. The first one, what's the DC?
That is a very good question. Hold on, I've got to pull something down. That's a
Doesn't
14.
matter. I rolled a 2, and a 6.
Yeah, they're all baned. They've been baned.
Question: would you have baned the one that
The one who tried to whiff a javelin at me? It's Cantriel, of course. That would be the first one to hit.
Okay. Just double checking. So I will mark those as being baned.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was a bonus action. Or no, that was a spell cast. Sorry. For some reason my mind said that was a bardic inspiration. No, that's not what that is.
No, but she is going to give bardic inspiration to Thorgarn.
Excellent.
So she'll shout out, help the other two, they're going to need it.
What is your die currently?
D8.
All right, Talmud, then you are up.
Now that this thing has clamped down on him and then raked its claw against his like upper arm, he reels back, also screaming at this thing. And as he does so, a tattoo begins to glow, and that starts to spread everywhere as a different face emerges from Talmud's, and entering rage. What is Torkenfell? He raises Ghost Cleaver above his head and says, "Oh, we're biting each other, are we?" Excellent. He's going to run in and swing twice at him.
All right.
I would like to use a domain die.
I want to attack. I want to use a domain die.
Okay, so that is a 21.
That will hit.
Excellent. My thickened attack will be to the tune of also a 21.
All right, 2 hits.
Okay, so what is my rage damage? I think it's still a 2. Sorry, hold please. Yep. Okay. So the first one is going to be 10 damage. And the second is 12 damage.
22. As you bring Ghost Cleaver into play, there is this maniacal dwarven laughter followed by this sickening sound of rending, almost like rending leather, and a spray of greenish blood and ichor. As with 2 quick slices, you open up one of the lizard folk and it collapses in a mess at your feet.
He immediately jumps into it, reaches down and pulls the exposed viscera up out of the lizard folk and just like showers it down on himself. Glory is mine.
Oh boy. You also have just gained another domain die thanks to Lionhead Gaming for hosting the channel.
Thank you.
Okay. And then that is now Griveth. 1 of 4 lies dead at your feet.
All right, let's bring another one down. All right, Sir Bradford's Honor swings in a vicious arc. And that is 24 to hit.
That is a hit.
All right. Ooh, dang. 12 points of damage.
All right. It can't quite get its shield up in time, and you cut, and you see as you hit, almost like this is part of the property of Sir Bradford's Honor. You actually see several of the scales as the blade rips across its arm. You basically descale part of it. Several of these iridescent green scales just slough off to the ground with your attack. Anything else?
Still hanging on.
Oh yeah, it's still up.
Okay, second attack. Oh, that is 24.
Yep, that's gonna hit.
All right. That is 8 damage.
You bring Sir Bradford's Honor around for another strike, taking advantage of the opening, sloughing off more scales, seeing this greenish, almost black blood oozing from it, but it still stands.
Oh, honey.
Is that the end of your turn?
That's it for me.
Thorgarn.
Muted. Muted.
Curses. So first attack, I use a domain die. Does a 20 hit?
A 20 does hit.
So I bring in Faithkeeper, my Warhammer. It's 3, 4, 7 points of damage.
All right.
Does a 14 hit?
A 14 does not.
Right.
It brings its spiked shield around, and your weapon clatters off of it.
So the long sword gets parried, and then I come in for my third attack, also with Faithkeeper, as an 18 to hit.
An 18 does hit.
All right, and that is for 11 points of damage.
All right.
Is he still standing?
He is still standing.
Curse.
You've also shed some of these, the scales, and you've ripped open some wounds in its chest. And that brings us to Fig. Cantriel, you hear Fig. As you see Fig is sort of shifting through, sort of almost like shifting his stance, adjusting position, trying to figure out what he wants to do. You hear him mutter to you, "I wish they wouldn't always group up on the enemies."
Some distance would be nice every so often. I quite agree.
And I just don't like turning Fig into a one-trick pony. I think Fig is going to fire off a fire bolt at the one that threw the javelin. So that is going to be a spell attack. Oh, good lord. What level are you guys? 7? Well, Fig rolled a 10 on the attack, but gets a plus 10 to hit with the firebolt. So that dirty 20 is in fact going to hit and do 2d10 worth of damage. And that is 11 total fire damage. As the three of you up close, you feel the heat of this bluish firebolt that just streaks through, cracks into the one, and briefly illuminates the area with this sort of splash of fiery light. And you smell this sort of sickening burnt flesh smell. And it is now the lizard folk's turn. So Thorgarn and Griveth, you are still each engaged with one. Talmud having completely dispatched his. They are each going to attack you twice. And Griveth, you can see that this one that you attacked, you did a pretty significant amount of damage. And he's not at all happy about it. And he is going to first try to bite you. And that is going to be a dirty 20 to hit you as he lunges at you. And that's going to be...
that doesn't hit.
A 20 does not hit you?
Nope.
You hear this sort of scraping sound as his teeth scrape across your armor, unable to find purchase. In frustration, still gripping you in its teeth, it lunges forward with this shield, kind of almost in a low cut, trying to jab the spikes into your gut. And that is going to be a dirty 20. Clang! Unable to get between. Thorgarn, yours is going to attempt to hit you with its club, and that is going to be a 16 on the club attack.
That would hit, but I'm going to use my reaction and use my bardic inspiration that I forgot to use when I attacked. So that's going to miss.
All right, so then, oh, you know what? I'm forgetting that those wouldn't have hit anyway, because let me check 1 second, because you might be able to save that.
Okay.
Yeah, because that 16 is now a 12, because these all three are the ones that are baned.
Yeah,
so that you can save that bardic inspiration, because it would have missed you on the first attack. It is going to attempt to bite you, and that is a total of it's 13, so it's not able to get you. The one that was in the trees and threw the javelin at Cantriel, it skirts around because it's not engaged with anybody. It won't draw an opportunity attack, and it's going to sprint towards Cantriel and Fig, running its full distance of 30 feet, and you see it holds another javelin, and it is going to actually aim at Cantriel. I rolled even odds to see. Cantriel, that is going to be a 17 minus 3, so a 14 to hit.
That will not hit.
As this javelin just, you hear it sort of whistle through the air as it misses you. And that is their turn, taking us back to the top of the order with Cantriel. And this one lone lizard folk is out in the open.
So this lizard folk is like dead on top of me at this point?
No, it's 30 feet away.
30 feet away.
They were 60 feet originally. It ran 30 feet out and then threw a javelin at you.
Well, then I'm going to throw an arrow at it.
I'm going to shoot it.
And that is, that's going to be a 25 to hit?
Yeah, that's going to hit.
A 25 will hit. And then that's going to be 6 piercing.
6 piercing.
And then, oh, shoot, I forgot. I have 2 actions now.
Oh.
So I'm going to shoot it again.
Wonderful.
How?
Because it is still standing.
Oh!
Does he get another shot?
I got a 20. I got a crit.
All right. So, as a reminder, crits are maximum damage, then you, including modifiers, then you re-roll your damage dice.
Okay, so then that's going to be... So far we're looking at 12 plus 7, so 19.
You fire 2 arrows in rapid succession, and one of your arrows sinks into its throat, and you see the blood beginning to run as it grasps at its throat, and your second shot finds its home in its eye socket, and it immediately just stops scrabbling at its throat and sort of seizes up and collapses to the ground dead. All right. Any bonus actions?
No, I'm good for now.
All right, Talmud.
That's 2 down, 2 to go, right?
Talmud, you are not immediately engaged, but Griveth and Thorgarn are pretty much right next to you and fighting these two very wounded lizard folk.
Okay. So I'm going to move to whichever one is closest.
All right.
And basically kind of run up on the opposite side of wherever, I guess maybe Thorgarn is facing this thing, and just come right up behind it and leap into the air with Ghost Cleaver coming down. Just roll a natural 20.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, so oh my god. Let's see. So starting off at 20 damage. So 26.
So you bring Ghost Cleaver down and you sink Ghost Cleaver into its skull, and you hear bone breaking, and there's just as is Talmud's lot in battle, you are sprayed with green gore as you cleave this thing's head. And it doesn't quite fall until you remove Ghost Cleaver, because you've lodged it in so firmly. However, I assume it will fall because that was just your first attack. Or wait,
So
your first attack.
It's dead, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, he had leaped in the air, so he actually just like connects with this thing and buries Ghost Cleaver like down to this thing's like nose and just rides it to the ground.
Yeah, you pretty much have to ride it to the ground because burying it in a 7-foot tall creature's head, you're about 3 feet in the air, and you absolutely do sort of ride it down.
Yeah, I have like one of my boots kind of at the top of its tail, and the other one kind of in the middle of its back, just kind of like riding this thing down to the ground. It kind of thuds down, and there's this wet sucking noise as I kind of pull Ghost Cleaver out, and I look wide-eyed around. I see Thorgarn. Hello, descendant. And then I'm going to turn and charge at the other one that's close with Griveth and take my second attack.
Talmud, wait!
So that's a 24.
Yeah, that hits.
Huh? 11 points.
Talmud, how do you want to end this?
So just as he's swinging, he registers somewhere in the back of his second personality that Griveth is talking to him, and he kind of turns as he's like cleaving this thing, and the head just kind of like spins. It's still caught on by like some of this scaly skin at the surface, but the weight of the head like pulls the rest of the skin off, and it kind of plop plop falls down like right at Griveth's feet. What? Huh?
Never mind.
And you are out of combat. What would you like to do?
Griveth, why didn't you want him to kill that one?
I thought maybe we could capture it and get some information. Maybe it knows something.
Well, we still could.
Oh.
Or would that make you uncomfortable?
Magic?
Make you a little bit squeamish, maybe.
Yes.
You could understand them, right?
We speak the same language, yes.
Well, let's see what we might be able to learn then.
All right. Well, we have to make sure the questions matter. No, just throwing out random questions or going into a spitfire, get it out as quickly as you can, random, all these collections going. And she's looking at Griveth as she's saying this, want to make sure your mouths stay shut and you don't keep asking more and more and more.
Well,
I'll be over here. I can't watch. You do it.
I don't know a lot about magic, but if you're casting the spell, aren't it your questions?
Well, yes, but I sometimes like to see if you have questions you'd like me to ask. I don't have to ask them all.
So we're here to find out if they are slavers. So I would think get to the point and get the obvious. Are they?
Are you slavers? That's one.
How many are there? Like not the slaves, but how many people?
How
lizard
many
folk?
are you?
I mean, how broad of a kind of question can we ask? Like, can they tell us how they operate?
Well, the more specific you are, the better. Who's your leader? That's usually a good one.
Not gonna say who's your daddy and what does he do.
No, that's more a Griveth question.
Take us to your lizard.
Oh no.
No, we're not asking that one.
Oh no. All right.
So, Talmud, you back to your senses yet?
Talmud's kind of like, almost like scanning the perimeter and like moving around like the trees, like he's searching. And he comes back, not having found any more quarry. And he kind of has lowered himself onto this fallen tree, this log. And he's breathing heavy and covered with this nasty shit again. I'm sorry, Thorgarn. What did you say?
I said, are you back to your senses yet?
Oh, yes, I'm I'm fine.
Yeah. So since you kind of cut them in half, we couldn't question them while they're alive. So we're trying to find out what we can ask them while they're dead.
Ask them while they're dead?
Yep.
Are the gods real? Where do we go once we've passed on?
So the gods are real. We've met them, or at least
42.
A couple of them.
Right.
I don't think they're gonna be able to tell us, where we go. But
So
how about information about the house?
Is it really haunted?
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Is it really haunted? We have one more.
What are you doing here?
Dying is what they'll say.
Oh no, they did that already. Yeah, I think that one's a bit too broad.
Best way to get in?
Is there a hidden entrance?
Are you protecting this place? Did they just come upon us, or are they actually?
Let's say, are there any secret passages?
All right, so secret passages. Any secret passages? All right, let's give it a try. So let me see here. Cantriel will go over to, well, we have one that's been decapitated, correct? And one that's been basically unzipped.
Pretty much.
The one I killed has a arrow in the throat. What was the state of the other one when killed?
See, there was a head split. There was an arrow in the throat and the eye. There was the first one that Talmud killed. He basically eviscerated it. That's in fact, probably the only one that's head and throat is completely intact.
Great. So I guess we'll be going to Confetti Boy. All right. So Cantriel will go over to the guts out one. And they're not undead, correct?
You don't really have a way to tell that.
Okay. I mean, we killed them. So, all right, then she'll go over there and she'll sort of kneel down near the head and hold her hands above the corpse. And you'll see this dark, almost thick looking. What the hell are you doing, Jeremy?
Jeremy has just become a ghost.
Come beyond the veil.
Oh my gosh. That is awesome. I need to find out from you what that is so that I can steal that
That's
for
hysterical.
spirit things.
That's hysterical.
That is awesome.
So she'll have the hands over the head, and you'll see like this very thick, almost ichor-like substance coming from her hands, and it tendrils out and it seeps from her hands into the open orifices, so like through the ears, through the nostrils, even like through the eye sockets and the mouth, and go inside, and the ichor leaves her hands and it emerges into the head of the dead creature, and it'll gasp itself awake.
And it just stares at you with its dead eyes.
All right, and I'm asking this in Draconic. I am not going to use the Draconic voice, though, because I'd like to be able to speak later. So tilt her head and smile. Yes, before you go, a few questions. Are you with the Slavers?
We not slavers. We hunters.
Right, hold on to that thought. Flipping to common. This one's saying they're not slavers, they're hunters.
Hunters of what? Well, never mind.
Maybe they just came upon us by accident.
Maybe ask, where are the slavers? Instead.
Maybe on with the question about there being a secret entrance into the house. 'Cause
Right.
if they belong in the house, regardless of whether they're slavers or not.
All right. The lovely haunted house. Are there secret passages?
No, not. What haunt house be?
Right.
We have many secret.
Oh, this is grand. Doesn't know what the haunted house is, says it has many secrets.
Parrot secrets?
What was that?
Can you share the secrets?
We could probably ask for one. Yes. All right, darling. So, what kind of secrets do you have?
Lizard folk entrusted with big secret, darkest secret. We serve it, and we keep it secret beyond death.
Well, this is fun, isn't it? They have many secrets. They're serving one big secret. Will not reveal what the secret is, even beyond death. But
So
it's a big
secrets.
big secret. Super secret. Secret.
So their secret is safe. Right.
Clearly.
The dead always keep their secrets.
Sometimes.
This is
Sometimes they
just-
let you know other things, like where the house key is. Ooh, maybe they'll know where the house is.
This is just foul. We're not learning anything. And you're tainting yourself with this foul magic.
You can keep your opinions to yourself, Griveth, as to what I'm doing.
Takes one to know one.
Thank you very much. Spot on there, dear. All right. Let's jump to, all right, back here, Precious. Who's your leader?
Our leader is the one we keep secret. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
We are learning loads of information here.
End this quickly, please. End it quickly.
You're such a baby.
All right, Talmud, you heard it. End it.
I don't want to be a part of this.
We have one left.
No. I was joking. I was gonna tell Talmud to cut off Griveth's head.
Oh well,
He said
carry on. I'll take care of this last question. You do what you need to do. Let's see here. How many of you are there?
We are Legion.
Dude.
We are hundreds. Wherever there is swamp, there are lizard. Wherever there is marsh, there are lizard.
Right.
And
well,
there's a name. I apologize because you guys caught me off guard with this. No, that's great. This is great thinking. It's not proving very useful for you guys with the particular questions you're asking. I apologize. I will have to get back to you on the leader's name. You will get a name out of this. I just wasn't prepared for that.
Ding.
But I believe, was that your fifth question?
Yes, that's the fifth question. And I'll say, all right, wonderful. Thank you very much. Have fun in the afterlife.
And no, go ahead.
Hold my hands back over the corpse, and you'll see this ichor basically ooze itself back out in these tendrils, and the tendrils will seep back in through my 10 fingers, and the last little bit just sort of seeps itself in and dust my hands off and stand up. And then she's going to turn on heel towards Griveth. Let's get one thing straight here, pup. I have a good sentry and so on you. So next time you want to tell me not to do something, how to do something, be concerned about the something that I'm doing, keep your mouth shut. Are we clear?
I just know where contamination can lead. I don't want you going down that path.
Oh, well, how considerate of you that you're now concerned about my well-being.
I've always been concerned.
No, you really haven't. And she'll turn and walk away from him.
Did those things just come out of her fingers?
Yes, they did, dwarf. Let's go.
It's magic.
That's what I thought.
And, other than, you trading faces when you get angry, you're really the only one here who, doesn't use magic.
Well, you don't have to rub it in, cousin.
Oh, no, you've rubbed it all over yourself.
Well, I didn't.
Oh, you got a finger in your hair. Hold on.
Oh, thank you.
Do we need to, the water is not too far. Do you want to run off?
Nah, it's just going to happen again.
Okay.
So how do you think we should enter this place?
Kick in the front door?
I guess that's our option.
Are we close enough to see the house at this point in time?
You haven't even gotten close enough to the house. You know that you've gone about 3 miles. This appears to have been an ambush.
So could Verity go back to scouting?
Yeah. Give me another perception check for each 100 feet. I'm just kidding again.
For each 100. Oh wait, hold on, that got away from me.
Two of our companions got injured. Who was hurt and how much?
Who could use a little?
I took some damage. Trying to get to my sheet. Hold, please. I'm down 14.
14?
Yeah.
I'm just down 10.
I will heal you for 7, Talmud.
7 points. Thank you, sir.
Switching over to Celestial, I begin my prayer to Moradin, and your wounds begin to close.
That's better. He kind of rolls his shoulder where the bite is.
Verity got a 18.
After a little ways of walking, Verdi flits back, and you get the impression that it has found the house that you were looking for. And it doesn't indicate any other threats. Just a little bit of this almost like sensation of it doesn't like what it sees.
I'll scritch him under his chin. Yes, I don't tend to like what I see often anyways as well. So thank you very much. And kind of pop it on my shoulder. Well,
Sorry.
Well, house has been found. He isn't too comfortable with it, but, dilapidated old houses aren't exactly welcoming things. Should we proceed?
No movement, nothing that stood out.
No alarm bells, at least.
All right, well, let's do it.
I'll touch myself.
Of course you will.
I'm assuming you're laying on hands. All right.
Let's hope.
All right. So, as you continue walking along the road, and this road continues its meandering way through the rocky coastal terrain, you begin to realize that you're slowly moving upward. The coast is further down, so that there's almost these sandy, rocky cliffs that lead down to the shore below. You can see that as you reach this area, it's still by now it's about probably 2 in the afternoon, 3 in the afternoon. It's still sunny out. There's still blue sky, but in the direction you're going, these low clouds are starting to move in, and occasionally the sun dips behind the clouds. The wind is blowing in off of the sea, giving you that briny saltwater smell, along with that scent that reeks of fish and seaweed. And there you see, as you crest this hill, on the highest point of the hill, a decrepit old house. All around it is a stone wall that is in ruins, crumbled in many places, easily exposing the interior grounds of the house. Ahead of you on the road are the remnants of stone posts with an ornate metal gate lying open. And as the wind picks up, you hear this slight as it's ever so slightly moving back and forth on rusty hinges in the wind. You catch glimpses of bright color as wild flora and fauna are growing throughout this inner yard. And as you approach, you can see, even though this place is overgrown and untended, this house is extremely dilapidated. There's still the sense that the gardens around the house were once well tended. And you can just make out the rotted wooden roof of a water well rising out of the tall grass at the house. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session, at the house. Before we head out of here, I'm going to retcon at the tail end of that Speak with Dead spell. You don't get a name, but the words that you hear in Draconic, Cantriel, you hear 2 words. And it's just as this spell is fading and that sort of almost like ichor that went into it begins to spill out, its final death rattle or after death rattle, the words in Draconic that you hear are Black Dragon. So, you did get one piece of possibly useful information out of that. Well, and you've learned that the lizard folk apparently have nothing to do with the slavers.
Which, hey, that's at least you know 2 different teams. Great.
Yeah. There's more than one enemy. Go figure. All right. Well, that has brought you right to the threshold, the literal gate of this location that is one of the adventures in Ghosts of Saltmarsh, which the players have been very eager to get back to. I think they just miss the comfort of dungeons and walls and doors. We know how much they love doors.
No, we
but
love doors. We love to, attack doors.
So yeah, you have arrived, and for the first time in a few sessions, you got to use your weapons and draw some blood. But I promise you it won't be the last time. We will be returning next Thursday at the same time. Hopefully, Megan will be able to join us that time. Hopefully, we'll have everybody here. If not, we'll continue with Fig in the way, or as is usually the case. If one person's down, I'll take over. But if we're down more than one, we'll usually call the game. In the meantime, I want to encourage you, and I think the timing is going to work out on this fairly closely. So tomorrow night, you're going to want to head over to Nerdarchy at 8 p.m., where you will find Dungeon Master Nerdarchist Ted, by Dwarves for Dwarves. Stay Dwarven. Oh, wow. Thank you, Spike, for that post-game donation. We'll go ahead and mark up 2 more domain dice for the party, bringing you up to 104. I'm actually going to make sure that I have those graphics for the next session, because I want to encourage you to add more domain dice. So you will... What was I saying? You will want to tune in to Nerdarchy tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Ted is DMing. V and I are both players. This is the campaign finale of this campaign of the RPG Crate games, where our characters have just reached level 11. So we will be playing that out at 8 p.m. Those games typically run about 2 hours or so. And then when you're done with that, you're going to want to head right back over here to Mini Terrain Domain, because Alan of CFT RPG is running his weekly Curse of Strahd game that he runs on my channel every Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. And that usually runs however long their games run. So you'll definitely want to check that out. Of course, Sunday nights, you can tune in for Tomb of Annihilation here on Mini Terrain Domain. Waterdeep Dragon Heist on Mondays. Next Tuesday is Session 2 of the new Legends and Legacies Tales of Phandelver campaign that I run every other Tuesday on the channel. So you can see we've got lots of content going here. It's very exciting to see so many people joining us tonight in the chat. Thank you to each and every one of you. Special shout out to Spike for donating a couple thousand bits into the domain dice coffers. Lionhead Gaming, thank you for the host with all of your viewers, for sharing us with your audience. And if you haven't done so already, I'd encourage you to click that follow button so you can be notified when we go live multiple times a week. And consider subscribing. It helps to support the channel. Or you can do it at no cost if you link your Amazon Prime account, or rather Twitch Prime account, to you get that one free subscription you get every month. So I think, one last thing, I'm gonna type this in the chat before we go. ! Quest, halfway funded the Quest Givers Kickstarter. The link is there in the chat. please do yourself a favor. Click that link right now and just check it out. As Scotty said, even if you want to give at the $1 level, there's something for everybody. So do check that out.
After having played, the Death and Taxes, there's a lot of cool stuff there. I've backed it. I hope everyone, out there will, at least as, Jake says, go and check it out. I think it's cool. It needs more support. We want to see this happen.
Absolutely. And of course, I want to say a very special thank you to Scotty, V, Ted, and Jeremy, and even Megan at home. Thank you all so much, because without you, this would just be me talking to a bunch of people, which isn't so bad. But no, we've talked often about how special this group is to each of us. And I thank you all for sharing your Thursday nights with me so we can tell pretend stories and go on epic adventures together. You guys are an important part of my Thursdays, and based on the people hanging out with us in the chat, several other people. So thank you to all of you. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. We're going to end the stream the same way we end every stream. And you can say it with me if you want.
Messenger.